there's a lot of technology adoption, when there's a lot of new things, we tend to get basic. We're like Neanderthals, like me want stick, me want knife, me want fire. Like we can do better than that. And so I think that's where, when you are spending money, when you're taking the time to fly your team down, you realize as the owner, like we are putting an investment into this. So you should really double down on your investment and implement it. Welcome to the Curious Builder Podcast. I'm Mark Williams, your host, and today is a Q&A, and we're going to talk a little bit about Buildertrend University. So last week, I took my team down to Omaha, Nebraska. A couple months ago, our friends at Buildertrend had reached out to us. We were doing some training. We had just hired a new project coordinator here at Mark Williams Custom Homes, and they said, your health score is actually pretty low. And I said, what's a health score? And we were a 17 out of 100, which is pretty darn low on a scale from 0 to 100. And I said, well, tell me more. And they said, well, there's a number of things that you're not utilizing. That's why we have Buildertrend University. Would you want to bring your team down? I said, sure, let's do it. So we flew down. We were down there for 2 days and 2 nights, or 3 nights, I guess. We flew down a day early. And it was a really great team bonding experience as well on top of it. That's something that I'll maybe talk about a little bit later in the podcast. And I think one of the reasons why I think the university was so successful, now having been back and kind of reflecting on what we learned, was, we've probably been using it, Buildertrend, for probably 6-7 years, something like that, for a while, but long enough to either set bad habits or to basically, like, once you know what you're doing and you know how you're doing it, it works great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that there's not really a reason to, on our team side, to innovate or change, because it's working. Clients like it. Our team likes it. Sure, there's things that we see that we could implement more on, but without like a driving force or a reason to, people don't really change. And so understanding that our health score was so low, it was really kind of eye-opening for me. And I could have gone down there alone and then learned all the things that we learned and then come back and then tell my team about it. For any business owner, it's sometimes hard to get your team to buy into some of the things that you're really passionate about. Trust me, over 21 years, when I go to conferences or I get new, I quote, ideas, the team is probably less thrilled about my ideas than I am. And I think that's a pretty common owner thing, an owner story that happens to us all. We get inspired, we come back, we think everyone else should be just as inspired as us. Sometimes they need to be there. So anyway, we went down there, and Buildertrend has changed so much over the last 4 or 5 years, and really probably 2 to 3. Right now, they're implementing AI. They're just releasing it. I don't know. I think it's been just a few months now, but their daily logs, there's a AI generative language model that basically takes your daily logs, takes in pictures, and will do a weekly recap, or however you want to recap it. That's really sharp looking. It basically, like what a lot of us do when we use ChatGPT to help us write Instagram posts or LinkedIn posts or marketing posts. It does that automatically within Buildertrend, which is really cool. And what was really fun is to meet with our one-on-one account rep in person and really go through, like, where are all the metrics they can show you. You have to ask them. So for those out there, everyone should have a Buildertrend representative. Ask them what your health score is. Ask them what are some things that you can do to get better. And so as we left Buildertrend, I'll talk a little bit more about what we did while we were there. But one of the things that we did when we left is we actually set up like 4 or 5 meetings over the next 4 months to have accountability and have check-ins with our account rep. It's what they're obviously there for. Their support staff is amazing, but I think us builders probably don't utilize them as much as we should, especially if we really want to utilize the full depth of the software. And so for us, it was just really amazing to see there are certain things that we did really well, but a lot of them there's so much more capability that we can be using. And so I think it was eye-opening. I brought my project manager, my project coordinator, and my controller down with me. I use it mostly on the sales side. So when I'm meeting clients, sometimes the first 1 hour meeting, if I'm meeting people at our office, or if it's a remodel, if I'm meeting them at our house, I'm showing how we use Buildertrend, how we show them, how we use our scheduling software. And I'll even show like the weekly reports, all of it, the financial tabs, just really showing them this is what you can expect. This is how you're able to stay up to date. And I feel like when I lead, especially in that intro meeting, it really helps them understand that, yeah, this is a professional business. I mean, obviously we have a great reputation and our homes visually look great, but I think this shows the systemization and the organization that we're supported by. We have lots of partners like this, but Buildertrend is one of the bigger foundational tools that we use, not only with how we interact with our subs, but also with our clients. And so really leading on the sales side, that's really important to me. I love the daily logs because let's say I'm going to drive to a client's house. I might quick pull it up on my phone, see what's happened that week, if there's anything that I need to touch base on. But it really helps demonstrate my knowledge, especially if you have multiple jobs going. And as the owner, if you have 5 or 6 homes going on at the same time, you don't have as much knowledge as like a single PM who's focused on 1 or 2 jobs. And so it helps bring the team together. It helps the client stay up to date. They ask us less questions. I think there's that old adage, you can either inform your client or they will ask you to be informed. It's obviously much more professional if you are informing them so they don't have to ask you for it. And so if you can lead the narrative, it puts them at ease, it puts you in the driver's seat, and it's just going to have a much more efficient job. So when we're down, so the first day one, they have a shuttle all prepared. They book a block of rooms at a nice hotel called the Element is where we stayed. That's about 20 minutes out of downtown Omaha. And I get to the building, get in, beautiful breakfast spread, the second breakfast for me. I went to actually running with Charlie Burtwhistle. He's one of the hosts of the building code at Buildertrend. So Charlie and I go back a ways. You've heard me talk about him before. He's part of our Hard 75 group. So shout out to Charlie. He's always game to get up early, pick me up, and explore Omaha together. So that was great. And then really they have a really good organized itinerary. So every hour they've got usually 2 people teaching a small room of like 15 to 20 builders from around the country. And everyone's talking whatever you might be talking about, change order management. You might be talking about scheduling. A lot of them is showing you how to implement some of their new technology changes into your existing portal. So everyone has their computers open. I learn better by doing. And so you can keep your computer open. You can access your own client facing or your own internal user facing account and work on it right there in the workshop. They can come over and ask questions, or you can ask right off of what you're working on right in front of them, and then just write down all the things. And what was neat for our team is everyone was able to sort of write down what they like. We've got a meeting set up next week for about an hour and a half where we're going to take our top 10 things that we took away, and then we're going to prioritize them, and then we're going to implement them as a team. And so a big part of it is we need to utilize templates. That was the first thing that we saw was we vastly underuse the amount of templates that they have. And a lot of them they have so many users across the country. Let's call it 20,000 builders using Buildertrend. They're taking that information and they're preloading templates that we can use so we don't have to recreate the wheel. And I know sometimes those templates are a little bit daunting. If you're like me, sometimes it's easier just to hack together a schedule off of one you've already done, which is like a loose template. But to have a very sophisticated template, you're going to have to devote a significant amount of time. But the thing is, once you do that, now the thing is set. And so one of our top takeaways is, and they have estimating, budgeting, schedule. They have so many different templates for how you can utilize it. And we're about to send out for a couple bids, and we have not utilized the bid presentation side to our subcontractors nearly as well as we should. And so I'm really excited. We always use it for data management. The QR codes all live in the different folders. But again, you can set up all those folders in templates. Once you make a master template, they're all the same. And this isn't rocket science. I'm sure a lot of people listening is, Mark, that's not that genius. You're right, it's not. So why are so many people not utilizing it, myself included? So I think a lot of it is that when there's a lot of technology adoption, when there's a lot of new things, we tend to get basic. We're like Neanderthals, like me want stick, me want knife, me want fire. Like we can do better than that. And so I think that's where when you are spending money, when you're taking the time to fly your team down, you realize as the owner, like we are putting an investment into this. So you should really double down on your investment and implement it. I think the tragic outcome here would be to go down there to learn about it, to come back and then do nothing with it. That'd be tragic. First world tragic, not that tragic. This episode is brought to you by Alpine hardwood flooring. They've been our partner now for over a decade, installing all our wood floors on all our new homes as well as our remodels. And on a personal level, Adam and Anthony Jankala, the owners, are just absolutely amazing people. They've been so supportive of my career as well as doing anything we need to make sure that our clients are happy. And they work so well with our other vendors and trade partners at not only protecting their product, but also ensuring everyone else's looks great. So if you're looking for a wood floor or for a refinish, I highly recommend Alpine hardwood flooring. This episode of The Curious Builder is brought to you by Olive and Vine Socials. If you're a builder, a designer, or an architect looking to grow your brand without dancing on TikTok or spending your whole life on social media, listen up. Olive & Vine Social specializes in Pinterest marketing, blogging, and email strategy for luxury home brands. They help you turn your beautiful work into a strategic SEO-driven content that drives real traffic and connects you with your ideal clients without burning you out. Ready to grow smarter and not harder? Visit oliveandvinesocials.com and tell them the Curious Builder sent you. Just so you know, I've been working with Alyssa over at Olive & Vine for 3 years. She helped us launch the podcast. She's helped us grow our brand at Mark Williams Custom Homes. I could not do what I've done without her help. And I'm more than happy to announce that she's our latest sponsor for the Curious Builder podcast. So as you go throughout the day, you break for lunch, ask questions. A lot of it was networking too. You're talking to other builders all across the country. It was funny because half the room was from the upper Midwest. We had Michigan, we had Wisconsin, some Ohio, and then the left side of the room was like all the southeast of the country. And anyway, it's just different. You're bonding over different building practices. We all have similar client issues. It's like everything we talk about on the podcast. Turns out, as a business owner, we all have similar clients. We all have similar issues. There's a lot of chatter around tariffs, how we're navigating that, how we're implementing winning jobs, how we communicate with our clients, what are expectations. The people that are there, in my opinion, are already in the upper percents of builders because if you're prioritizing your education, if you are focused on getting better, you've already probably been doing it for a while and the cream rises to the top. So you're surrounded by a lot of builders that you should know. And I remember handing out just a ton of cards, obviously from the podcast side of it, but also just as a builder, connecting with other builders. It was really fun to over lunch and over dinner, just to talk about how things are going. And I feel like you don't really have a specific agenda, but when you're surrounded by excellence, you learn so much in those conversations. There was a builder, Jeff from Peak 3, they build in Aspen. I think they have 30 employees. And we must have talked for 2.5 hours the last night. Buildertrend took us out this great wood pizzeria place. That was great. We just sat and talked for hours. And we had we're both cost plus contractors, both doing high-end work. And they're in Aspen, so they're a little bit higher end than us. And they had 2 remodels that were, I guess I won't share what they are, but they were very high up there. And then a few new homes. And he had a homeowner that had a very difficult situation. And it was a cost plus remodel, and maybe it was a new home actually, and they had some foundational work that they had to do. And anyway, long story short, they had to upgrade the drainage pipe. Let's call it 10 grand. And the homeowner didn't want to pay it because he said, well, you should have known this. And Jeff was like, it's a cost plus contract. We didn't know about this ahead of time. So you asked us to go in for permit early. We're basically modifying this on the fly and mainly because you wanted to go. And now they're arguing at the very beginning of the job. By the way, this guy's a lawyer, so that's great. And this is very common behavior. Raise your hand right now if this has happened to you multiple times. And so we just talked about what would we have done differently? What would he have done differently? And like a lot of us, he said, we probably should have told the homeowner they need to wait. Let's get the specs 100% dialed in. And then now it's, what is your path forward? How do you navigate this? Because you're at the very beginning. Like there's going to be way more change orders. And if you can't come up with a way to navigate this, the future is going to be a lot more difficult. Like this should be one of the more easy ones. And so we were just talking about different scenarios, how to solve the problem. And I think this is what it is to be builders that collaborate. I shared a number of experiences that I've had. I've shared them on the podcast before too, of just very similar situations. And sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some, but as long as you're learning and then implementing them, I think that's the key. And realizing you're not alone. I mean, that's why we have the podcast. That's why hopefully you're listening and you're like, okay, that makes sense. I've had this similar situation. So anyway, those kinds of conversations are very abundant. So anyway, that was day 2? And then one night it was really fun. We went out, we got some recommendations on different places to eat, and we hopped around, tried a few different things. And Omaha's cool. I think the one gentleman, it was during the Masters is playing right now. So they rented out their house because he's in Augusta, Georgia. And he had his whole family there. And they went to the Omaha Zoo, which I think it's the San Diego Zoo and the Omaha Zoo are like the 2 top zoos in the world. So I guess next time, I'm going to bring my kids to Buildertrend so we can go to the Omaha Zoo. But so anyway, that was just high level what we were doing. I think what was really neat too is you get to meet so many people that not only your account manager, but you get to see I like brand content creation, marketing. And so I've interacted a lot with CBUSA as well as Buildertrend over the last couple of years. And so to see some of the people again in person, I've seen them at the International Builder Show at CBUSA, which was in Minneapolis last fall. So it's fun to see a lot of familiar faces, reconnect, and just talk about what's the state of the industry. They work with builders all over the country. What's a common consensus? What are you seeing? And so I think anytime you can attend things like this, like Contractor Coalition, like the Curious Builder collectives that we have in several different states, like the International Builder Show, these are all things that you're investing in your business and investing in yourself and your team. And I think for me, I was so glad. I was one of only a few people, a few other builders did it as well, but bring your team. That was, to me, was a real win, is having the team see firsthand all the things that you can apply to your business. So anyway, I'm sure there's a lot more I could talk about there, but that's just high level. We won't make this a complete Buildertrend puff piece, but it was pretty impressive and they run a great operation. I know so many of us do use Buildertrend. And so it was fun to even reach out to builders that have already been there before. And they said, how's your experience? Or this is what I learned. And so now we're back in Minnesota, and I've got to apply these lessons to our business and see how they grow. I think what will be really fun is if you follow our social channels on Mark Williams Custom Homes, as well as the Curious Builder, we'll be posting probably once a month or once every 2 months our health score increase. So I'm really curious to see, by focusing on and it's not, we're not just doing it just to have a healthier score. Like it's fun to have a competition or a milestone out there. We're doing it because it'll make us a more efficient business. It'll make us better, more systematic to our clients. It'll make our jobs easier because we're using more of the tools. It'd be like if you got a Ferrari and you only ever drove it in first gear, you're missing all the other top end high speeds because you're just stuck in first gear. And I feel like there's so many more gears than what we were even aware of. And so that to me was the big takeaway. The other thing that was really cool, I guess I will mention this, is, and I'm going to adopt this into our business, is one of their key people was just talking about they'd been at Buildertrend for 5 years. And after 5 years, you get 4 weeks off of paid vacation. That's your sabbatical. That's your perk for working there for 5 years, saying thank you. You can go work on yourself, go travel, go build something. And I just thought that was really empowering and really cool. And so I haven't figured out yet. I'm just, like I said, I just got back, but I want to implement something like that in my company. I think it's very important that we think about how we can empower our people. I know IBM years ago, I think in the 60s and 70s or whenever it was, I think it was like if you worked 15 years for them, you got like 6 months off. But it was mandatory. You didn't have an option. You had to take it off. And they knew that after working 15 years for a single company, if you didn't do it, maybe you'd get burned out. And so it was a way for people to just take a time out, go travel the world, go work on a project, go volunteer your time, just do something for yourself, learn something new, go learn how to play a musical instrument, sign up for, an Ironman, train for it, just do something different. And then you'd come back to work a better person. I believe IBM has since done away with that, but I really like the concept. We try to do a small version of that every Christmas and 4th of July, where we give our whole team 2 weeks off at Christmas and a week off around the 4th of July, just to kind of reset, refresh, and avoid burnout. But I love this idea that Buildertrend is giving their people after 5 years, 4 weeks off. I think that's really, really cool. So anyway, I think that not everything you learn, as you would imagine, is in the classroom. Sometimes somebody will share a cool idea with you that you want to adopt. And so I guess I would challenge the business owners out there is not only as the owners of the companies, how do we handle that? And I know I talk a lot on the podcast because it's something I'm very much in earnestly trying to figure out, which is to have a business that I can work in versus the business working on me. And for 21 years, I've had a job, and now it's about time that I have a business. And setting these milestones where, for one of my goals, for instance, is so May is 9. So when May is like 13 or 14, then my youngest Tate will probably be like 9 or 10. Like I would like to take 4 or 5 months off and travel with them. It was something that we did when I was 12 and 13 years old, and it had a huge impact on my life. So I've got 4 years of runway to shape the business around that time off. And I want to be very deliberate about setting up the team, building in the layers so that my team can obviously operate without me. And that was something that I certainly never could have done before. And it wasn't really something I was interested in before because I just thought scaling, more people, more problems. But I realize now that scaling offers freedom, in that by empowering your people, I know this sounds simple, but it's probably simple in concept, hard in the execution. And I'm just really excited for having the goal of having this time off with my family is a way that I can reverse engineer, build a better business. And I think when you partner with people like Buildertrend and other partners that we have, I think that's how you become a better business. You adopt the things that they adopt. You use the technologies that they supply you. And there's so many great partners out there that we partner with up and down the chain. So anyway, hopefully this episode was helpful. And if you're interested to hear more about Buildertrend University, you can certainly reach out to me, DM us on our social channels, send me an email. Obviously, you can contact your local Buildertrend rep as well and tell them the Curious Builder sent you. Thanks for tuning in to the Curious Builder podcast. If you like this episode, do us a favor, share it with 3 other business owners. The best way that we can spread what we're doing is by word of mouth. And with your help, we can continue to help other curious builders expand their business. Please share it with your friends, like and review online, and thanks again for tuning in.